This video is about light discipline in your schoolie. In our urban boondocking experience, we try to black out our bus completely so no one even knows we're in there. It has worked well so far for us, and oftentimes there's people that come next to us and don't even know we're home. A lot of times we park our bus at night and walk around to look at our light discipline issues. With the red lights on, you can easily see where we've got problems with light. Here's a quick walk around. So the good thing about good light discipline is if you park in an urban setting and you want to be discreet, you hide the light. In our experience, it's less likely someone's going to come knock on the door and ask you if you're in there because it looks like no one's in there.
Good morning, Skoolie friends. It's bright and early here in South Carolina. We're up on near the Georgia border, I think, and getting ready to take off for the morning and doing our morning walk around, even though it's cold out here. So I wanted to share what I do for a quick walk around of the bus in the morning before we take off with our Skoolie. So every morning before we drive, we try to check out a certain number of things. There's no firm list, it's kind of a trained eye thing, right? So I'm going to check my oil, which I already did this morning. I'm looking, as my eyes go over the motor, I'm checking to see if there's any leaks at the head gasket that I can notice, any water pump leaks, any kind of uneven distance in my fan blade and my pulley indicating my water pump might be going out. Looking for any fresh leaks that I didn't recognize from the last time before. My power steering hoses, my power brake hoses, my power steering box. Now this, my reservoir for my power steering fluid always looks like that. So I know my bus. I know it always looks like that. It's not really leaking. But you just let your eye drift over your engine because you're familiar with it if you look at it every day. So you would know if something new is happening. You would know if there was a crack in the mainspring of your leaf spring or if you're missing leaves. Your tires, you look at those. The bulge, the bottom of the tire, you'll get used to it being the same. You can thump it. We check our pressure once in a while, but mostly it's visual. And then I walk around the bus every morning before we take off. I check my boxes, make sure they're still closed, make sure my water's not leaking out, make sure my back tires all look the same. Sometimes I'll even get down and thump the back tires, looking for chunks of gravel that are stuck in them, because you don't want to ruin your day over something you could have seen. So, and then, of course, I'm checking my load, make sure my straps are tight. My fuel tanks are still bungeed down. My hitch is still on. My safety chains are all still on. Nobody's been touching my Jeep. The doors are all still closed. The tires all look right. So, notice I broke one of my Harbor Freight tow lights, but luckily the LEDs light up red. So, it's still okay for now. It still lights up and lets people know what I'm doing. My bicycle hasn't jumped out of its rack. We actually Velcro the tires to the rack and then tie it on with the lock in addition to having the hooks. So I'm not going to lose a bicycle again. So just wandering eye over the whole thing, making sure my latches are lagged. I got to put some sort of colorful tail on my chalk block so I don't forget that. I have lost one of those before. You can thump the tires to make sure they both sound the same. If you had a flat one and you thumped it, you'd know the difference. And then keep walking up to the other side of the bus. Here, my tire looks right. My fuel water separator's not leaking. My belts are all still on. My water's still up right where it needs to be. So make sure your boots are solid, not torn. There's no new soot around on it. So that's just kind of my morning walk around. Make sure everything looks the same and is performing right. And you can look underneath the bus and make sure there's no new leaks. Some of us have buses that leak all the time. I've been fortunate. Mine doesn't leak that much. So that's about it. 3 minutes to walk around your bus in the morning. Make sure everything looks right. So you guys have a good morning and keep cruising. Hey, this is Travis. See? All right. Eric and I are doing pre-trip checks on my bus and his bus. And we just checked the oil and water. I was looking at my tires and thought it would be fun to get out the tire pressure gauge and check those. So while we're checking tire pressure, we see rocks in my tire. So we look, pry the rocks out, and this little rock is actually worn into the rubber down to where maybe you can see a piece of steel down there. So pry that gravel out of your tire, check your tire pressure, and then let's go around the other side and see what I found on the other side. Oh yeah, we're staying at a Harvest Host place, right?
Yes.
What's the name of it?
Blue Mill Vineyard.
Right, Blue Mill Vineyard. So we go back to my back tire and we're checking tire pressure and got a screwdriver out to pick rocks. And while my lug nuts are different than yours, because I have different style wheels, one of my lug nuts did not look like the others. Which one is it? Okay, so this one doesn't have the same thread shown as this one. So I'm like, why would that not have the same? Oh wait, that lug nut's completely loose and the wedge is completely out. So those 5 lug nuts that I have hold on both of my tires. So good we're getting down here and checking it. So I'm going to encourage everybody to get out and check their junk today. All right, good luck. Bye.
And last but not least, we check the lights every night that we drive. We try to do the same kind of walk around at night before we take off. Make sure we're not leaving any chalk blocks and make sure all the lights work. I know I've got one missing on the fender and one out on the tail, a marker light. So, not that big a deal. I'm going to order some nice new LED ones for the front fender soon anyways.